Leonard, CEO and owner of a construction company, wants nothing to do with love, and women in general. In a flashback, Leonard found his fiancée romancing another man in his house. He got very furious but still decided to be a gentleman and did nothing to them. Instead, he decided to commit his focus and attention to his company and eventually turned out to be a workaholic. Though successful in his endeavors, he does not look like a happy man. In the next scene, is Amanda, an assistant to Kimberly. Kimberly runs a real estate company and like Leonard, she was also heartbroken by her fiancé just 3 days before their wedding. The two bosses have something in common, that is the hate of their opposite genders and the workaholic spirit to kill the thoughts of ever wanting to fall in love again. Amanda, after delivering the documents, wishes her boss a happy weekend and that they will meet again on a Monday next week. Kimberly insists that they have a lot of work that should be completed within the week and that her assistant to come to work the next day. Amanda tries to reason with her boss, saying her best friend is having a wedding that weekend, and that she will not want to miss it, adding that she has already purchased some gifts for them. Kimberly sarcastically congratulates Amanda's best friend and proceeds to ask her if her friend has prepared for a heartbreak, which she refers to as breakfast. Amanda, shocked by her ill thoughts, asks Kimberly why she was thinking negatively of her friend's relationship. Kimberly then tells Amanda that she does not wish badly for her friend, but she has doubts about men. She refers to men as cheats and is always the same even if they get the most beautiful woman on earth. She then insists that her assistant, Amanda, should report to work the next day nonetheless. Amanda walks out of the office, annoyed after her boss insisted that she is doing that to protect her assistant from the lies of men. A year later, after Leonard's heartbreaking incident, Balaji, who is Leonard's assistant, comes into his office and delivers incomplete files, saying he is not yet done with one and that he is working on it. Leonard angrily tells his assistant if he had resumed work by 8 a.m., he should have completed working on all the documents. He then finds out that his assistant resumed work at 11 a.m., with the reason that he was at his friend's baby celebration. That started immediately after one of his friends proposed to his girlfriend. Leonard cuts him short while calling the women daughters of Jezebel and that his friend's relationship would not last long. He then tells his assistant to leave his office and immediately work on the last document. Later that night, Balaji heads to a bar where he meets Amanda. Shortly, Amanda receives a call from Kimberly asking her to send some emails to their clients before the day ends. Immediately after the call, Amanda starts complaining and regrets having applied for a job in her company. Balaji notices her distress, and they start sharing their resembling work challenges. The next day, Amanda wears a frown face at work. Her boss realizes this and lights her spirit by promising her lunch together after work. While having lunch, a man drops by and requests to join them. Kimberly, uncomfortable with his presence, brushes him off, calling him a predator looking for innocent women to prey on. Kimberly then leaves the site and asks Amanda to follow her. Later that night, Amanda meets with Balaji and decides to work on a plan to make their bosses fall in love. The next day, Balaji brings some gifts to his boss and says the dispatch never mentioned where they came from. Leonard finds a letter in it but did not see the sender's name. Instead, the letter concludes with a secret admirer. He pronounces them as rubbish and asks Balaji to remove them from his desk. He then adds that the next time he brings something like that he will lose his job. Balaji, realizing that his plan is failing, asks Leonard where he should keep them. Leonard angrily replies in his head before sending him out with them. Meanwhile, Amanda tries the same thing with her boss. Kimberly, seeing the flowers and gift, tells her it is not her birthday. She then proceeds to ask Amanda to read it, doubting if it should be hers. Immediately after reading it, her boss, like Leonard, sends her way with it. While pondering on what to do, she calls Balaji to ask him how their plan went from his end, where Amanda proposed a new plan to make their bosses have a date together, but make it appear as a coincidence. Balaji, though scared of losing his job, agrees to the plan. Amanda tells her boss to take her for lunch as she earlier promised, since the last one was shortly cut after the anonymous guy dropped in. Though Kimberly declines at first, she agrees, acting persuaded by her assistant's praises. On the other hand, Balaji lies to his boss that a client insists on meeting his boss in some restaurant, and that he has a quick flight to catch, so he could not make it to their office. At the restaurant, Kimberly and Leonard are placed together at a table as winners of VIP free meals. This is after a short game prepared by the restaurant manager, under the instruction of Balaji and Amanda. Though expensive, they agree to pay for the costs and meals their bosses think are free. At the table, Leonard hits on Kimberly, saying she is excited because the food is free, and that it is their usual thing, as women will always go around looking for moneyed men to leech on. Leonard then adds that women are all the same and that it is the price that differs. This after Kimberly tells him he has been dating cheap women. Kimberly, who pronounces herself as hardworking and independent, walks out of the table annoyed, saying she could afford the meal, and that she cannot tolerate Leonard's presence, thinking she is like the women he has met before. Balaji and Amanda again came up with another plan, and this time they wanted to make sure the two meet for work-related activity. Kimberly runs a real estate company and Leonard a construction company. Balaji suggests that their plan should make the two companies work together and difficult for them to opt out. The next day, Amanda shows Kimberly some construction companies and Leonard's company was at the top. Without looking much into details, Kimberly signs and gives the contract to Leonard's construction company.